Quantum physics teaches us that we are 99.9% and more energy. So when you come to the stage, you might not believe in energy, you might not believe in this, and that's perfect to me. I wasn't believing it too. The brain works almost like a router. So we download memories, connection, thoughts from this informed field. So if you want to have an healthy nation, we're going to need to have healthy mothers. And we need a nation that provides also to mothers, the one that they can't, to fulfill the most important job in life, motherhood. Life never goes against itself. Whatever destiny you are imprinted with, life has given each children the tool and the instrument to face that difficulty.
Today I'm talking to Tiziano Sguerso. Tiziano is a systemic practitioner and family constellation observer. He's originally from Italy, moved then to Australia and is now working all around the world and is currently touring in Europe. I talk with Tiziano about his difficult upbringing, his first really difficult years as a teenager, how he then moved into a living as being a professional fighter, and what then happened that he ended up in systemic therapy and family constellations. We talk about how you can heal your relationships to your mom, to your dad, and also your partner, and what Tiziano does, such that he always knows what to say in a certain family constellation and how to find the sweet spot in a constellation. Enjoy.
When I work, there's a thing about me, Céline, like when I work, I become almost not conscious completely of what happens because I feel really guided inside and I follow strictly my guidance until, as you can see, a few situations went like almost slip for the crew, but not for me. I felt I was completely in control. In fact, I was in the end because I really feel this, I feel I'm really gifted to do this. Like this is my gift. Like this is what I want to do. This is what I have to do. Like I really feel called to it. Yeah, I don't feel I need to study it. When people come, I know where to go. Yeah, I have that confidence, that call.
That's impressive. Yeah, and you never take notes. I learned from the workshop, Tiziano never takes any notes at all.
Céline, for me it's about embodiment. Take it into the body energetically. I mean, quantum physics I don't know if you want to anticipate some good thing, but quantum physics tell us we are energy. So science tells to us, so why don't we embrace it? Like we are energy, we absorb things, like we enter in morphic resonance. I'm coming into the room and I enter in resonance with you. Like if I feel comfortable with you, well, it means that there is a good resonance, an harmonious resonance, but maybe there's some behavioral traits between us that they don't match. So then we don't feel comfortable with one another. That's how I always feel. Like I sit there and I see how I feel. So then I start from there.
And you said you feel guided now in that work.
I do.
Has there been any feeling of guidance already in your childhood? Were you very sensitive and open for energies already back then?
Yeah. I remember I used to play a lot by myself, Céline, with animals. And I was imagining things and stuff. Like I was creating my own world into the garden. So I felt I was really guided. I just felt really sensitive. And I was always caring about, children in need. For example, one thing that is still locked with me, Céline, if there was a child with any issue, Down syndrome or anything, I would be drawn to them to make them feel important. I always had that feeling, always, like incredibly. And I still now I do with everybody, but yeah, I always had that. Yeah.
So you tried to support those children, or you were friends with them, or what happened there when you said you were kind of drawn to special children with special needs?
I wanted them to feel joy. I wanted to make them joyful. I felt my role was to make them joyful, and I wanted to be there. I wanted to, I just wanted to go there. Yeah,
and
be their mates. I want to be
Yeah.
one of their mates. Yeah.
And how did your surroundings, your parents or your brother family, how did they kind of work with your gift? Was that seen? Tiziano feels a little more than others. He's a little more sensitive than others, or was that no topic at all for them?
No topic at all. And by the age of 13, I almost suppressed it because I was not accepted or understood with what we call the brotherhood, my mates, everything around. So I suppressed it, and I didn't know what was my identity, Céline. I started to take identity from others. For example, one of my friends was playing guitar. Well, I play guitar too. Mm-hmm. Another friend of mine was play soccer. Well, I would play soccer too. And by doing this, I went more on the surface. So I literally denied myself almost. Then many other things happened in my upbringing that really led me back to that, and finally becoming myself, or returning myself, I would say. Like I feel now I return to myself. Yeah.
What happened there? Would you like to share some pieces?
Yeah, absolutely. In my teenage years, what I started to perceive from my environment was, my friends are violent. They do robbery, they drug dealing, they are violent, and everybody is speaking well about them, speaking highly. They respect him. Well, in order for me to be accepted, I should do just like them. So I started to protect myself with this kind of mask, like a costume, almost like I became violent myself too. I started to go to the gym to protect myself, kickboxing, karate, Muay Thai, anything that could, lead me to something that I felt protected. It was a protection I wanted to give in front of people. And eventually I started to fight professionally. So it led me to something. The biggest downfall was in my 22nd year. I had a strong depression, very profound depression. And I went on benzodiazepine. So they gave me benzodiazepine to stop anxiety, panic attack. That was really difficult, Céline, because I kind of lost this protection identity. So I didn't know who I was until the age of 26, where I decided to come to Australia. So to go to Australia, sorry.
What do you think, what happened in your life that you lost identity? It seemed like you wanted to be strong, you wanted to protect yourself, you wanted to find, I don't know, I would say as a non-expert, some kind of father figure in others. And what then happened that you went into depression and really needed help there?
I felt almost more than finding the father figure. I didn't have a father figure to protect me. So I tried to become myself that protection mechanism in front of others. At 21st, Céline, I had my brain just stopped working. Like I couldn't perform anymore. It was just like my soul told me, Tizi, I'm sick of all the performance you're putting out, and I break you. So my body really broke in pieces. I could not cut the weight to fight anymore. I had anxiety, panic attack, couldn't diet anymore. I couldn't even train almost. Like I literally had panic attacks when I was entering the gym. And
you were fighting professionally at that time?
Oh, yeah.
That was your living?
That's exactly what I was doing, like all day, every day for many years. And that was what took me off the street with my other lost soul. So I became the special one there because I took myself out, and obviously I was not using drug or drinking. I was very serious, actually. So I had some professional fights, some good victories, and I was like, oh, this guy, he can make a career out of it. 21st, I got my body just stopped.
But he didn't have any bad experiences in terms of you lost a fight or whatever. It was not on that level.
It was not on that level, but for me it was even more, Céline, because when I had not my body, my physical shape to show off, it's like I lost my face. So for me, when I couldn't diet any longer, to diet, we cut carbohydrates, and I was always shredded, the pretty boy, like, oh, he's shape, he's fighting, bad boy becoming the good boy. So, got a bit of a facade there. Eventually, like, my body just told me, okay, I'm bringing you back on track. That's what happened.
Oh. And then like, what happened that you decided, okay, I want to go to Australia? That's my next step.
My laugh, but I watch a series called Spartacus. It's on Netflix. I don't know if it's still, but it was.
I haven't seen it, yeah.
One of the actor, the one that my favorite one, the one with big shape, shave head, like, look good, called Manu Bennett, is from New Zealand. So with one of my best friend at the time, who was a physiotherapy, he was getting a degree in physiotherapy at that time actually, and we said, you know what, when you finish your degree, when you get graduated, well, we go and we have an experience. And I never left Italy before. I mean, I had some holidays here and there, but never really decided to let go. So yes, I did let go. I did let go, and when I came to Australia, I finally, Céline, took off that mask. I released it. I let go. Well, I didn't have to prove anymore I was Tizianino, how they called me at the time in my hometown. Didn't have to be the criminal, the tough boy, whatever. I just went and delivered pizza. I went to literally deliver pizzas.
In Australia?
Yeah. In the first 6 months, I didn't have a word of English, Céline. So I went very humble. I went to the pizza shop, and they took me, and I was driving around with my scooter, delivering pizza. I had some money that I saved in Italy here and there, and well, I started from zero, literally.
And you were around 26, you said?
I was 26.
26, okay.
Yeah. 25, 25th. The 26th birthday I had it here. I had it there, actually. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did your family say about that? Back in Italy, or your friends there? Like, did they understand your step?
I was such a lost soul at the time that I tried to keep everybody away, because I had no that mask anymore. So I didn't know I was, like, literally I was trying to keep friends away, and girlfriends, I didn't feel that confident any longer. And I had many girls before. I was always, as I said, the pretty boy, but then I lost that attitude, that approach. My family, they were happy, actually. My mom particularly. My dad suffered a bit at the start, because he's somebody who does the same things a little bit like me, every day in the same space. My mom, she was happy. She's always been a wild spirit, and she never traveled, because, South Italy, she had her own story. She has her own story, but she was happy. She was happy.
Okay, so now you're delivering pizza in Australia. And what happened then?
I met a girl, an Italian girl called Giulia. And
Giulia is an important one, I guess.
She was. She was my locking contract with Australia. So I literally went back. I stood there for her because, and I guess she needed me too. So at the time we really helped each other, and I met her, and I was sharing with her my dreams. I said, when I was in Italy, I wanted to make a living with sports, which is what I've always done, Céline. So, and eventually she was like, well, you can do it here. And immediately what I did, I signed up in a Muay Thai gym. I fought all of my life. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to a Muay Thai gym. The owner was Italian. Synchronicities. He was opening a gym. That gym was just open, and
you didn't know?
Oh no, I just casualties. A friend from Italy. Oh, there's this guy and this and that, and I know you are ex-professional fighter, so you can speak to him. I went there and I started to train, and I eventually fought again. So I went again into the ring, but I felt, Céline, that my anxiety to fight was still there, and I didn't perform that well. I had 3 fights. One of them I done really, really well. The other 2, not really. I was not in the mood. And eventually he knew that I was good. I was not performing in a fight due to the anxiety and this and that. But in the gym, I was very good, very technical and this and that. I was already a psychologist at the time with clients. So, that's what I ended up doing. But I started to teach in the gym, to lead the gym. I was very serious, not drinking. Everybody was drinking. So this guy was like, wow, you are really serious. Like, you are in. So he gave me the keys of the gym literally after not a long time.
And how was it for you to be back in that game? You didn't expect to go back into fighting, did you?
I didn't want to, but it was the only thing, Céline, that I knew. And in my head, in my consciousness, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, can't do what I'm doing now. Like, I didn't have at the time that consciousness, the idea. Like, I was like, the only things that I literally have done in my life is fighting. So I went back there, but it was good because I started to be very known in the area because of my mannerism, because I was very friendly, because I was very good technically in what I was doing. So I started to fulfill my dream, which was to be personal trainer of rich and famous people in Sydney.
That was your childhood dream?
That was literally my
Really?
childhood dream, my teenage dream.
Yeah.
Teenage, not childhood.
How about childhood?
Well, about what I'm doing now.
Really?
Fun enough. I was seeing a soccer way, like, oh, I'm going to be in front of stadium and score a goal. But now I'm seeing what I was seeing, like big theaters. That's what I'm seeing now, like thousands and thousands of people in front of what I'm doing. I always love the public, like being in front of the camera. Really do like it.
And then the teenage dream was really...
I adapted because the only things I did was fighting. So I was like, oh, well, that's what I'm going to do, sports, because I'm training hard, I'm good body, good physique and this and that. So I'm going to do that. And it happened. It did really happen because I started to have, all synchronicities one after another. I started to train very wealthy people. I eventually end up training in one of the famous showgirl in Australia, who she was married with a very with one of the most famous cricketers in the world, like probably the most famous. I had all these kind of people around me, and that was literally, Céline, my dream in teenage. Like, I want to be like, hot girls and models and wealthy people. That was me.
What did that do to your self-esteem at that point?
Well, that was some sort of self-esteem coming back, but from which point? Ego. So I needed to recover my ego, to protect my ego, which was wounded, or eventually having that ego to protect my child who was wounded. So I needed that big mascara in front, successful businessman, rich and famous people, this kind of surface wealth, of course, but surface talking and appreciations and observation, everything on the surface, rather than actually what I'm doing now, which is completely on the other side.
And would you say that that depressed Tiziano from Italy was then, as soon as you left Italy and went to Australia, was the depression gone, even as a pizza boy? Or was that just later, when you kind of grasped that self-esteem again, that you would say, okay, then the bad times, the depression was gone again? Or what made it change?
The change made that I could relax. So my image was no more a threat. Why? Because I had no image there. I was nobody. In front of millions of people around me in Sydney, I was nobody. I didn't have to prove anything, literally. Not even how I put the cream in my hair. Like, I was just me. Like, I returned to me, who I was before that mask was put on. Yeah. Julia really helped me, and now you make me think like she had that mother energy. That was what I needed at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happened that you ended up in Family Constellations?
The partner after Julia, which I would say she was the deepest, the longest and the most important. She started to bring me into self-development, meditation and this and that, really driven her as well. Like, she was really giving me like, we're gonna achieve this, we're gonna achieve that. We're big dreamers. It's like, together, and we want that. And we achieved everything we said we would. Everything. Like, I promise you, Céline, if you want to write a story about law of attraction, please listen to mine. We literally attracted everything. The visa out of thin air, literally. We didn't have any opportunity to have visas. We actually made it out of thin air. with synchronicities, situation, opportunities just happen. Financially, we went exactly where we wanted to go. Like, I ended up living right now, like while speaking with you, in this place that I wanted to dream to live with her. Literally, after years that we broke up, we're still very good friends. I said, look, I showed her where I live. I said, you are unbelievable. And I'm earning and doing exactly what I promised her I would have done. And I'm gone worldwide. Like, we just really two children, two dreamers.
Wow.
And
how long ago is that you met her?
It started by the end of 2016. And he ended up 2021. So we had the big long journey together, and we just ended up because we went different paths, but we're very good friends, and there's so much respect for one another. Yeah.
And how do you do that law of attraction? If someone is listening and doesn't have any clue at all what you're talking about and is not believing you, like, how do you start believing in law of attraction?
Believing in the law of attraction is about think of something that you really want. Because many people, they say, I want that, but they don't dare to take the actions to do so. Mm-hmm. So they say, yeah, I want $1 million, whatever, call it out. But they do not dare to take the actions that they move them to that $1 million. And there's also, Céline, another huge idea around this. The more you become special and the more you detach from common people, from everyday life. So you start to feel a little bit lonely because you're entering obviously new area, new path, new people. So that's why people sometimes they self-sabotage themselves because they don't want to leave their Italian mates at home, even my own mates. Like, I go to the beach, Céline, and my mates, they say, they almost take the piece out of me. Like, there's the one earning this and that. No, like, they take the piece because they just live as everyday life and everything. They work certain hours and this and that. So they almost take the piece out of me. They still do in Sydney. But what I do is I put myself of service. I followed my dream. I'm following my dream. I put myself in service to others, but I still, belong to my long life friends. And yeah.
And how do you feel? How can one dare to be lonely? Because I think that needs also trust element again, that you dare to leave certain friends, for example, or a certain city or whatever it might be in your life, such that you can develop, such that you can turn the person you would like to be or you've always been. How can you dare to be lonely for a couple of months or years, or how long it needs to be?
This is the thing. Some people don't want to detach from what is comfortable. They know what they have there, they're safe, but they don't dare to say, you know what, I want more for me. I want more from life. They don't dare to do that. But when you really start to feel like life is a Pandora box, this is how I see it. It's up to you how you want to reach, how far are you willing to go with that. And there's a key element, Céline, which I always say to people, like, you want to go somewhere, see how can you serve more people, how can you help others, how can you go there by spreading your gift, your individuality. And this is what I do in my job. I always say, well, I have personal dreams, of course I do. I want that, the good life, everybody wants that. I do want that for sure. So I say, well, in order for me to go there, how can I serve more people? How can I spread my gift? How can I be of service to others so I can go there because life remunerates me accordingly? That's what I always say, and I probably said during the workshop several times. Yeah. Yeah.
So your second partner, she introduced you to self-development, and I feel like you had no clue about it before. It was not a big topic in your life. What was your first impression of that whole field?
I'm gonna make you laugh. The first time that I meditate, I felt like, there's another self here. This is literally the impression I had. Well, there's someone else here. Like, I'm not alone. Like, I'm not this body. I promise you, like, it was like people are like, they need ayahuasca, they need those kind of extreme experience. I had a meditation in my couch in front of literally the street. There were car passing. It was also noisy. As soon as I closed my eyes and I went back in, I had this lady called Dana guiding me. Wow. I literally, Céline, I felt, well, I'm not alone. Inside me, there's another self. That eventually took me in. Like, I felt, I want to attract more money. I want to attract this. I was young. I want to attract that. So, okay, I gotta play with this with other self inside me, with this energy. And I was listening to, Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, this kind of meditation and breath work, and I went into this loop of I want more, and I was actually achieving things. And I opened a company. I was importing boxing gears from Italy. Like, I actually stepped up on a business level. Like, I was known in the field of boxing for what I was doing, and then something went wrong with this company. So I had a business partner who placed a lot of money in. Things didn't work as we were planning to, because things didn't work. And then COVID arrived, and that was literally when I dived into family constellation.
So, like, was it because of COVID, or was it because your business didn't go well, or was there something else?
I was curious about all this self-development. I was keep diving, and curiosity wanted to improve more and to fix also my own life issue, because I had very tough upbringing. I went a bit on what I had. I had very deep downfall in my upbringing, Céline. A friend of mine told me, you had quite a colorful life. You still have. So you might want to look at something beyond, the physics, what's going on in your life. And this German psychotherapist called Bert Hellinger, who developed this approach called family constellations. And you might want to take a look at it, because someone in Sydney is doing it, and they gave me her name. Check her out. And I'm Sagittarius, Céline double Sagittarius. So I went straight in. I want to try. Let me give it a go. That day I did my first constellation. I don't know if it was the first or second, but yeah, maybe the second. Or maybe the day after I broke up with Ali, with my 6 years long-lasting relationship. And that was enormous, because I was so in love with her, so beautiful, so caring, like all of this. And I felt I wrote a letter to her, and I broke up with her. Literally, I think it was the day of her birthday even. Yeah, I know. I know, Céline, I know. I was just guided into it. Tell me, if you would ask me, like, Tizi, why that day? I have no idea. I've done that constellation that Sunday, and I didn't know what it was. Imagine when you came to the workshop, like, you look at what was happening and say, what? What's going on here? Uh-huh. Well, that was me. I had no idea. I was a kickboxer. So I was like, Mom, these people are spirited, or what's going on here? They like the lunatics. Well, they're really. So, well, it did happen. So it did happen. And then I thought something was calling me back there. I couldn't wait. I could not wait. At the beginning, because I was seen. I was almost the only man. So I was very happy to be around women. So I went there because I wanted to be seen. I kind of fall for somebody even into the circle. So there was a bit of a falling in love story. But yeah, then I just went every time. I couldn't wait. I could not wait, literally.
Every time means every month or every week?
Every month. Yeah. And I was also searching more. So I was not only eating what was there in Sydney, but I was actually purchasing online stuff, and more. I went into a full on, like, I never had this much interest for something. I bought books. Full-time job. Like, I was just doing that. During COVID, it was just family constellation, like, infusion.
And what do you think, what specifically fascinated you so much? I mean, you could have also gone into, I don't know, Zen Buddhism or meditation full-time or whatever. There are other parts in self-development which could be very interesting, but you went for family constellation.
it's just the emotional release that I was experiencing. It's like, Céline, imagine I was carrying a truck for about 25 years, and after I left every workshop, it's like this truck was becoming lighter and lighter. Like literally, I walked off and I was like, wow, I'm a new every time there was a workshop, I was getting out of it like peeling an onion. I was becoming a new person. Fascinating, fascinating. Really.
If someone doesn't know at all what family constellation is, how would you describe it to them?
In a very simple way, which is what I'm trying to do, because as you got from the weekend, I don't want to be the shaman from the forest, but I want to have even Bill from the office. So that's my call. It's a therapeutic approach, psychotherapeutic approach, which looks at the life of the individual from the system of belonging. So whatever happened into the family of origin of the person involved is still applicable, or is still having an impact in the life of the person. So if the person had what we call an interrupted movement, so a difficult relationship with their mother, that relationship is impacting their life as today. How? Financially, with abundance, with health, in their relationships. So in family constellation, the fascinating part, Céline, is you can look at everything. Everything has a meaning systemically. I was saying to Leah, like when somebody comes to me, I don't need many informations, as you could see. I have pain on my left knee. Well, you do. Systemically, that has a meaning. That is the power of a family constellation, which I personally feel that in the next, I go very wide with the prediction, 30 years, there'll be some part of it in schools. That's how I feel.
In primary schools? In
schooling, like maybe secondary school, there will be imprinting. There are already imprinting, but you can adapt systemic therapy to everything. I call it maths of life. It's like doing mathematics with life. That is how I see it.
What would be the meaning if your left knee is hurting?
The knees, the pain on the knees, they generally manifesting as somebody finding their value. For example, men generally feel pain on their knees when they squat. They feel like, well, I squat, of course, Tizi. Not really, because then when they squat, they feel more men. They find their value, they find their masculinity, they find their father. That's why many people, they squat because they feel testosteronic after. So yes, it is all true on a biological level, but it combines with systemic therapy where the knee, right knee, left knee, different meaning, which I'm going to give it to you. Right knee speaks about the father side. So for a man is his father. They find their value as a man. The left knee speaks about the man into the family system of the mother. So pain on the left knee looks towards the value of their mother, because it's the father who gives you value, the validation. Father looks at you, Céline, and say, oh, Céline, you're beautiful, you're very pretty, you feel valued. By who? By the opposite sex. So this is how it plays within you. For us men is validation from the father. Tizi, you can do this. My father is my first supporter. I'm so proud of you. And I'm very confident. You see me when I come in, I'm very confident what I do because I have that confidence from my father. Yes.
And why do you think have you lost that confidence at one point?
That is such an intelligent question, because I did lose my father at that point. My parents separated and my father was completely excluded. He became violent with my mom due to their own issue, and I barely see him maybe once a month. And speaking with him, forget about it, maybe walking in front of his newspaper shop, but no more than that. So I did really lose my father at the time. And where did I search it, Céline? Externally. When you don't take your family of origin, your system of belonging, what you're missing from the back, you seeking from the front. That's what I say. And you become the product of your environment. No longer your specialty, your uniqueness, Céline, as Tiziano, but you become a little bit of Céline, a little bit of Leah, a little bit of Mark, because I take what I miss in front of me. This is where I lose my specialty, my gift, my uniqueness.
But did you have your dad in your childhood?
I did.
And that's not enough. I always had the understanding that when you had what you needed in your childhood, for example, your dad, the self-esteem is there. There's kind of a foundation, you know what I mean? But then it seemed like you lost your dad on the way when you grew up, and then also your self-esteem was gone.
I do give you a specific systemic meaning into this, which is relatable to everyday life. From 0 to 9, we work in the sphere of influence of our mother. What it means.
Until 9.
Till 9 years old, 7 to 9. So every detachment from our mothers during those years is literally a conflict within us, what common psychology called trauma, systemically we call interrupted movement. Why? Because when we detach from the umbilical cord, where we obviously grow inside the mother womb for 9 months, when we step out of the umbilical, when we detach, it takes 9 years for a son or a daughter to separate fully from their mother. Many people forget to understand that we are the same thing with our mother. So we're not separated from her, we are the same thing, and it takes 9 years fully to separate from her. When we separate from her, Céline, a very important and pinnacle point, particularly for men but also women, 9 to 13 years old, we move into the sphere of influence of our father. For you, the opposite sex parent. For us, the same sex parents, which gives me the validation and the eyes in which I see the world. So he sent me out of the door with the confidence of who I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna do. For you, he gives you the validation to tell you value. Find a good man. See how the world is gonna look at you with that same validation which I have given you. Obviously, for a woman, what does that encounter? If a father doesn't look at her, doesn't make her feel emotionally supported, which kind of man she will look at? Somebody who does not make her feel emotionally supported or seen, because that's the imprinting she got from her father. Same for us. If my father does not give me value, where I'm going to find value? Where I'm going to find identity? I didn't know who I was. I had no father at the time. He was not there. He didn't tell me who I was, what I had to do. In everything, in my sexuality, in the way I walk outside. Sometimes I was scared. He didn't protect me, so I miss all of that. Where did I look for? In others. Protect me. Sexually, I go to women, they give me validation, so I became literally what common psychology call narcissism. Narcissism, what it is a son in the sphere of influence of his mother, unable to detach, so he still look for validation from his mother. The same is for a woman on her father. So is a woman who seek validation from her father rather than finding her own value within. Same is for a boy, finding my own value within. So I externalize that validation. I take it from the external.
Interesting. You're always talking about that knowing field. How do you call it?
Morphogenetic field.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What is that? And how can you feel it, or how can I feel it as well?
You do feel it. Everybody does. Many people are not conscious of it, but everybody does, particularly because Rupert Sheldrake brought this name to the surface. And he spoke about a field where all the living beings are informed by. So I'm informed within this field. There is also a study where we don't actually develop our own thoughts, but we download memories from the field. The brain works almost like a router. So we download memories, connection, thoughts from this informed field. Many people call this the third eye. Other people simply perceive gut feeling. That's what I'm doing. So there's an inner image that I perceive within, which allows me to connect with you. That's why when I state certain things, you cry, because that things pass through you. I just read it through statement. Some people read it through movement. Some others, they dream. But we are connected energetically within this grid of information. How do we perceive it? Everybody has their own inner guidance, their own perception. I am so sure that if you sleep one night on it, you perceive where is becoming your own guidance. Some people on dreams, some people on perception, some people even through thoughts. Maybe, there's a forceful kind of intrusive thoughts which wants to lead you somewhere. Go to the right, Céline, come on, go to the right. But I want to go to the left. No, go to the right. And then you go to the right and something happened. Mm-hmm. Why? Because this grid is informed. So you are informed by it and you take the right decision.
And what would you say to people who don't feel that and who don't believe you? They're like, okay, Tiziano, what are you talking about there?
I always say to everybody who does not believe it or doesn't want to believe, first of all, I always say, what happened to you when you were a child? When did you stop to believe? Because children believe everything, even though an elephant is flying. Then something, Céline, is happening in their life. Perhaps their favorite uncle died and they stop to believe. They start to perceive everything as matter, really, because that is comfortable for them. After I lost my uncle or my mom, life became useless, became shallow. So I don't want to believe that there is magic in this world, because there is not. That's what happened to me. So the first things that I want to say to them is, what happened to you? When did you stop to believe? When you put your dreams in the closet. That's something that I say. Second things is, if you don't feel, you became shallow. It means that something was freezed within you and you stop feeling, because your lover broke your heart when you were 16. Somebody raped you. Your father raped you, maybe. So there is a part, there is a moment, particular moment in their life that they stop feeling. When they come to me, I allow them to sit and I bring them back to this moment. What is my role, Céline, really? Allow love to flow again. How do I do that? I make them cry that sadness that was not faced at the time. Then I don't need to convince them any longer. I let them go on their own way and I allow them to see what unfolds. We are love, we are God, we are energy, call it as you like, scientific, we are the morphogenetic field. You experience it. If you are willing and if you have enough courage to come and take a look at what's going on, you do experience it. I had a client yesterday from Leah, beautiful person, talking here and there, very wealthy, nice and everything, like talking here and there. She wanted to bring me in her own way, like life was perfect. But I said, well, if you are here, you need to have a problem. Because if you don't have a problem, family constellation is useless to you. But I know that everybody has a problem, because I have a lot of problems. And I work with thousands of people, really, tens of thousands. So we came to the problem, and the problem came to the surface. And we did the work, obviously. We did a session. Emotion came to the surface. She left as another person, and she messaged Leah as another person. And she stated something like, he really has powers, but not really. I don't really have powers. I simply connect you with the part of yourself which you have been disconnected to. The power I have, my individuality, is my capacity to go in depth. Just as you have your capacity to lead this conversation, which I wouldn't have that patience. I wouldn't have that sparkle. I have my own gift, you have your own. So yes, I have powers like you do, but what I do really is I recognize my power. That's what many people don't do. They don't know who they are. They don't know what their gift is.
What do you think? Why?
Because they disconnect from themselves. Disconnecting from themselves means they disconnect from their family, their system of belonging. That's where love comes from. You know already that loves come from your mother. You came through your mother. So if you disconnect to that part of yourself, you're disconnecting. It's like you're cutting 50% of yourself out. You are 50% your father, 50% your mother. And I always say, when you cut one of them or the both of them, you become the percentage left. So you detach from who you really are.
What do you think about the role of schools? Because you talked before about children losing their spark, losing their believing. And in my own story and others, like stories from friends, school has always a very big impact. That you have to perform, you're rated. You're not really seen as the girl or the boy you are. how do you think does this kind of, it's also a system, I guess, right? Or it's
It is
part of a system.
It is.
So how could that impact children as well and their self-esteem?
School can be, I'm very careful when I say this because I do big workshop with a lot of courageous women. School can be very traumatic, very dangerous. I always say they can be very dangerous for a simple reason. If you go in nature, no cab detached from the system of belonging or the mother until they independent to nurture themselves. So until they can hunt. We are biologically animals. And when we detach from the system of belonging so early, we lose the priority we have given in that system of belonging. So we become, as I was saying before, a product of many. We adapt with different beliefs and ideas that come from other system of belonging. So I can feel not valued. Why, Céline? Because in your family, wearing a red skirt is good. In my family, wearing a red skirt is not good. Because when my mother was little, my grandfather hurt her, hit her because she was wearing a skirt. So that's a devaluation that I perceive when I see you different than how you are, than how I am, than how my system of belonging is. What happens, Céline, is if your skirt is well taken by the group, I believe that I should do it as well. So I go where? In conflict with myself. Because in my system, that skirt is not well accepted. This is what happened in school. I've done big workshop with mothers. I work with a lot of mothers, and I explained that. You know what's funny, Céline? When I said that, I was speaking with my mom, say, you know, Mom, I don't know if they're going to take it well because they feel guilty that they send their children to school. I don't think I had a wrong comment in that workshop, and everybody was like, you're right. We should have a nation that is so well set that they know that the role of the mother is the most important role in the upbringing of a child. Because when a mother is present, fully present for a child, the child grow up healthy, not only on a physical level, mentally, because they nurtured, they supported, so they don't go and grasp emotional support from others, women, and also surfacey stuff, luxury stuff, just to give to themselves that nurturing that they did not receive. They're gonna be abandoned in their job because they've been abandoned in their morphogenetic field. They've been nurtured by their mother. So they find this nurturing in life, financially, emotionally. So if you want to have an healthy nation, we're gonna need to have healthy mothers. And we need a nation that provides also to mothers, the one that they can't, to fulfill the most important job in life, motherhood. Motherhood is procreation itself. Without a good mother to procreate, we don't have anybody.
No, that's true. So you said before, like the most important person in a children's life is really the mother up until the child is 9.
Yeah.
And then the father plays a bigger role. How do you see the kind of the two roles, mother and father, before the child is 9? So when upgrowing, like, is a present father needed or just starting from 9 years old? Or how do you see that?
Very needed. Not needed, very needed. Needed for the mother. In order for a cave to feel safe, for her to nurture the children, we need somebody to protect the cave, to provide inside the cave. So we need a man who is well set, healthy enough to provide for his family, to make her woman feel safe, so his woman can make the child feel safe. If the mother doesn't feel safe, the child doesn't feel safe. And the father is not fulfilling his role. So absolutely, both of them equally important. I always say there's a bit of a swap during the upbringing, 49, 51, 51, 49, because of the natural range, age range in where the child needs more the mother or more the father, but they equally important. Equally.
And then at what age would you say, in your experience, that a child is ready to go outside in a school or wherever they want to go?
16 is a beautiful range of age where I see that 16, 18, they really open to go out on their own. 13, they start to get in touch with the rest. Even after 9, just after 9, Céline, they are able to start to interact. Before, it's super important between 9 to 13 that they interact with the pack. Who is the pack, Céline? The cousins, the uncle, the aunt, it's just their environment. That's a natural thing. Everybody does that. After 13, they can really start to go out, usually accompanied by a family member. Cousin, a brother, a sister, the father, because they feel protected and supported. They have their own pack. So we belong here. The most important component is we belong. I belong. After 16, 18, 18, 19, this range of age, they fully developed, and they can literally leave the system of belonging slowly. But definitely that those are the numbers that I see in my own experience. And I want to touch something which you might find it very interesting about the separation. Between 0 to 9, we are starting to separate from our mother physically, literally, biologically, with the touch from our mother and energetically. So when we experience another detachment, for example, we are left with a stranger, that is a further detachment that we put above the detachment we are already experienced. That is what is becoming a trauma. That's what psychology call a trauma, because we are experiencing 2 detachment on an energetic level. One is in process, silently, nobody speaks about it, but the other one, we are left a child care, a school, whatever we are left. And I don't know if my mom comes back. I don't have that consciousness yet. So guess what? What I perceive, well, mom has abandoned me. So mom has abandoned me. My body is intelligent, is informed. I develop anger. Why? Because sadness underneath is the love that cannot make it. I extend my arms. My mom is not there. Love cannot make it. It becomes sadness. In sadness, I remain stuck. I can't move. See, when somebody's sad, you say like, well, I'm heavy. I'm sad. So heavy. Well, above sadness, anger comes kick in. Why? Anger is good. It kicks us forward. Let's move. I broke up in September. Well, perfect. I'm angry. And in January, I start the gym. If the anger was too wide, Céline, it becomes what we call pride, resentment, judgment. Those are different forms of pride. I'm proudful. Mom, you came back to pick me up at school. Well, I'm not coming to you any longer. You did pick me up, you did came back, but I was hurt for those 6 hours. Perfect, I'm not coming back to you anymore now. Pride.
It's a very interesting topic, and I can already kind of feel a couple of comments which this kind of could trigger, because a lot of women, let's say a woman has no partner anymore, for example, but they have a kid, the strongest argument is always it's not possible. Like, I cannot homeschool my kid. I can't afford it as well. I have to work. Maybe I don't have a partner anymore. I don't have a pack because my family is, I don't know, spread all over Europe or whatever. How can I live up to kind of your expectations or your recommendations? What will be best for the kid?
You don't have to. And I tell you the why you don't have to. Life always brings you an opportunity to support whatever difficulties that life itself is presenting you. So if you don't have the opportunity to follow those recommendations, of course, there is a beautiful childcare teacher who will cover your role, okay? And you have done your best in order for life does its best in order for you to be supported into that. And obviously, your child might face some difficulties in their upbringing. But I always say something to every mother, because again, it's the most important role, as I say. Life never goes against itself. Whatever destiny you are imprinted with, life has given each children the tool and the instrument to face that difficulty. Why? Because the child is informed by its system of belonging. So the family, the child knows how to deal with the difficulties that life present him or present them. So I always say, no drama. My approach is really no drama. As you've seen, we fix things. Life is supporting you. No drama. Generally, Céline, when a mother feels a bit resentful when I state something like that, because she feels a bit guilty. Guilt plays a big part in her, and that's where I come in, and with compassion, I understand. I always explain to her what happened with your own mother, because the unresolved with your mother is brought to your children. That's where I come with the compassion, and I say, relax, we fix this. No problem. There's no me against you, you against me. I'm here to serve you, to support you. Let's look what happened with your mother. The relationship that people have with therapy is the relationship they have with their mother. The relationship they have with the therapist, the love they perceive through the therapist, is literally a representation of the relationship with the mother. I had a very difficult relationship with my mom. Even when I started this, I was triggering everybody all the time, because that was the love of my mother. I could trigger her to feel her, to have attention, to receive attention from her. The more I heal the relationship with my mother, and the more I release, or the more I improve my relationship with the public, because that's where it was coming from. That's the root.
Let's go quickly back to your own story. So it was COVID times, 2020, 21. You had that family constellation boot camp year, so to speak.
You bet.
And today you are doing family constellations yourself. What happened within those 5 years? From you just starting, not knowing it at all, and just 5 years fast forward, you're here giving your own workshops.
I did become myself. Those 5 years helped me to take my family of origin more. That is why I say to people, you don't need to find your value. You don't need to find your job. You don't need to find almost anything. You need to take what was given. Take what was given means accept your family just as it is. Look where you are not in peace in your life, and look where you are not in peace with your family. It's literally an equal relationship. When you find yourself, life is giving you your purpose, the way to put it into place, the people that they help you put it into place, and it also gives a name to what you're doing. I promise you. I always say to people, some people like, you see life too easy. No, it's how I did experience these last 5 years. I did not make up anything. I did study, yeah, that's true. I obviously had some guidance. I done a lot of healing for me, but really what I did is I became myself. And life presented to me the way to the path, the way in which I could put my purpose into service, my gift. Then I call it the language of the soul, and I call it family constellation. You call it as you like, but you really, what you are doing is you place your individuality, your system of belonging in service to others.
And when was exactly the day when you said, okay, I want to do it myself? And I don't just want to take part in family constellations, I want to do workshops myself. I can do this.
I almost did it immediately. After 1 year, 6 months, 9 months that I was in, I could feel like I was really gifted into this, and I had a lot of compassion and stuff. But when I say that I really spread, I call it spread, 2023.
So quick. Like, how could you have, first of all, the courage to do it? And then also, I imagine myself, I'm just new to a field, family constellations. It's interesting. I love it. And then you were really diving deep into it. But then instantly you felt like, okay, I can do this as well. How? Like, how could you get that feeling so quickly?
I had this development, I would call it, since almost more than 12, 13 years. So when I started with my ex-partner, that was already learning and feeling more myself and this and that. When I met Family Constellation, I took another layer, like I step up to another floor. And eventually I was inner guided. That's really like, I'm telling you, Céline, that if I show you some picture of myself when I was 18, you're like, wow, it's not you.
You have to do that afterwards.
I 100% I will. And I show you some of my fights, you would be like, how can you do what you're doing now and you were doing that? I just felt my inner guidance. I broke my relationship, and even my family, my friends, my ex-partner, she believed in me, but obviously she looked at me like, what are you really doing? Like, what are you really doing? When I put myself out, I straight away had people in. And at the time, I didn't know, it was it was the marketing, I was a good looking guy, whatever, I had women in. I was just starting to really spread my gift unconsciously and guiding people. At the time, I was still seeking a bit of value by doing it because it was, coming to the surface. Then, as I said before, I just really felt my inner guidance. Like, you would come to me and tell me, Tizi, I have a problem with my dog. And I would come out from nowhere. It's like, what's the name of your mother? People would look at me like, how do you know this? Or like, why do you ask me this? Like, I was going so straight into the problem that nobody ever told me, that I became so accurate that, of course, everybody started to believe it because they had life shift, big life shifts. So yeah, then I started to have my second call by bringing what I was doing into public eyes. So I started to make videos, YouTube, and they started to spread with tens of thousands of people worldwide. People invite me to podcast, and I would do literally session in podcast in front. Like, you would tell me the problem, I would allow you to release the tears in front of everybody. And I was like, oh, you bloody do this. So I just put myself into it, like my gift. That's all. Really nothing special, like my specialty. That's it.
Was there at some point any resistance, maybe from other practitioners?
Massive. Like massive. At the start, when I started to film what I was doing, and then I was not doing the orthodox approach, the Hellinger approach, or this approach, despite I so devoted to the work of Hellinger. But what I took from Hellinger is that make it in your own way, become your own specialty. So that's what I did. But the people that they attack me sometimes, they just followed something because they don't have the courage to dare. They didn't really take what Hellinger has given to them.
What do they say?
Some people, they want to do it black, white, and green because Hellinger said it was black, white, and green, despite Hellinger took it from somebody who was yellow and made it in his own, like I'm doing. So literally, Sagittarius as well, Hellinger, beautiful soul.
Have you met him?
No, unfortunately, he died 2019. But they follow his path just as it's been given by him. So somebody that has another gift, another system, like different personality. I did what literally he said. From this work, a lot of flowers will flourish. So I made my own flower, call it the language of the soul. Why? Because that is my gift. I cannot do it in his way because I don't have his history, his destiny, his system of belonging. I have the Sguerso system of belonging. So I made it in the Sguerso way. And then I made facts with it.
Have you ever doubted yourself during that time?
When people doubted me at the start, sometimes I did, and it was good because it was my arrogance, and I needed some little slap on my hand. Now I don't need anymore to debate with anybody because the people that I have helped, they protect me. I always say a good leader, you see him because when he really is of service to people, the people who he has served, they protect him. So what is my protection always in my heart is helping more people. The thousands and tens of thousands and more actually that I've served, they speak for me. So I don't need to prove. I just need to serve, which is different. And that's why I'm doing it. I'm in service to people and I want to help people. And I make sure that when they leave the room and they work with me, even if they didn't come in stage, they live as different people because that's what I'm here to give.
Let's have a look at family constellation in general. Like when you're giving workshops or also personal coachings, specifically for women, which topics or themes usually pop up?
Women tend to come with a lot of anger because many men have been absent in their life. First and foremost, their father. Second in line, a representation of him, which is their partner, husband, father of their children. So the majority of work that I do, that I help women with, is emotionally through releasing this anger, this sadness, and allow them to enter more of their soft and their wisdom, their depth, which means going closer to their mother. If their mother was not there, I also help them to see why their mother was not there and that they have done their best, because every mother does always her best, even in her difficulties, with the system, with the resistances that the family has presented to her. This is what I majorly help women: relationships, with children. I do a lot of work with children, around children. As you can see, as you have seen over the weekend, I'm very good into that. Some work on symptoms. It's I would say there is some work on symptoms, not directly on symptoms maybe, but take the symptoms to go in navigating what really is the approach. I help men find joy, I help women find joy, I help men find their pack, their brotherhood, and acknowledging particularly recently how important it is for women to stay with women and for men to stay with men, because we recharge our pole through that. I also allow many relationships to flourish and to marry and to have children, but I also allow many relationships to break, because some people remain in relationship that they no longer since many years, and they don't have the courage to break because love is missing. So they remain with what is left when there is no love, which is attachment. So I help them to find their love back, and make the decision.
How many breakups do you expect from the recent workshop in Zurich last weekend?
A few. Two.
Yeah.
I would say two. Two breakup definitely, but I also see a good flourishing marriage coming. So I do see maybe a few of that. But it won't matter to me the outcome. What matters to me is that I move you forward. Move you forward means that I place you in harmony with life, because life only moves you forward, only moves forward. So if any part of you still look backwards, that is what you're sabotaging. Why? Because you're not in harmony with life. So that is my best interest, allowing you to go in harmony with life.
And what was so interesting regarding the breakups, I felt like those women in the workshop, they already knew it somehow. They just didn't dare to speak it out, but it was already there. It wasn't, at the beginning I was afraid of you telling them, it's over with your husband. And I had some resistance towards that, you telling them what to do in their life. But I really felt that was not the case at all. It was just like you, softly asking, are you sure you want to stay with that man? And then it was totally clear. No, they don't want to.
It is important, Céline, that I tell you something. I cannot know something that you don't know yet. Mm-hmm. I always say to people, because people sometimes tend to idolize me like they idolize others, because these people usually they have found their gift, so they really place it into service and they're like, wow, I do have a gift, which is the capacity to go into that depth, although I cannot tell you something that you're not aware of. Why? Because the way that I perceive that is through morphic resonance. So I enter in resonance with you and I take those information, download it, call it as you like, and I just speak it to you on a systemic terminology. It's like you speaking to me in English and I repeat to you in Italian. That is all that I do. I always say to people, I do that. So if I tell you that you should break up, it's because you told me in your own words. Mm-hmm. So I just gave you an interpretation which you wanted to hear on a systemic level.
Mm. And how do you know the root of a problem and the cause of a problem so quickly? I felt like the woman or the person is on stage, it takes, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and you know already, even though you haven't spoken it out yet.
I do, but this is like making a coffee, Céline. Imagine going to a coffee shop and how long the barista takes to make a coffee for you. 15 seconds. Well, I do this every day. I make coffee every day. So if I see you that you have some form of water retention in a certain area of the body, I know what it means. Why? Because I have dealt with that water retention for thousands of times.
What does it mean?
Water retention looks towards this connection with the mother, particularly what we call through the biological laws. It is called conflict of the refugee. What does a refugee do when they found their house bombed? They retain as much food and water as they can. So what you do when your mother, the nurturing experience of the food and water is not taken or given, you retain as much food and water as you can, where for a woman is usually on her glutes, on her upper legs, because that is her femininity, the feminine expression. For us men, where is that? The belly, big belly. So we manifest in a different area, but the same things, this connection with the mother. I had people losing 7 kilos, like clicking 13 kilos in some times. The more they move towards their mother, the less their body intelligently needs to retain that food and water. They can release they back. You were there with me, so did you see the lady that she had the experience with the child after? She had another face.
It was a complete new person.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you go back to your mother, the war has ended. The war in your body has ended. Finished. I always say, look at your face. I call the entire room. I say, look at her face. The war has ended in your face.
Yeah, it was really impressive. You said at the beginning of the workshop, don't cross your legs. But I think you didn't explain why.
I didn't, yeah. You apologize if I didn't. Probably everybody's like, what is taking? He's so rude. It causes distrust.
It causes distrust?
Distrust, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For some reason, when people, they cross their legs, they perceive distrust and I perceive distrust. So in the field, there's this feeling of distrust. You might call me, you might ask me why. Well, I don't really know the why. It's some form of action, this cross, that does not allow me to read clearly or does not allow them to take it clearly. It's like a sort of block from the body. Okay? Like it's like when people cross their arms, they protect themselves. When they cross their legs, they perceive some distrust. They are in that comfort position where they don't really take. So I always say, if you uncross is better, politely. You notice that girl that she left the workshop the first day. It was like after, she was crossing the legs all the time because she was so annoyed about the workshop. She was so annoyed about what she was hearing. She
didn't return on the second day?
She didn't.
Okay.
There was a situation on the side, by the way, which I told the Leah the reason why. There's always an important systemic reason. And somebody else came in.
Yeah.
If you notice. So we match up the numbers.
Yeah. But she kept silence. The girl.
She kept silent. Yeah. There's always a reason. There's always a reason, Céline. If you want to record another podcast, we can look at the room and I tell you specifically everything. Because systemically, everything has a meaning.
I will be very curious, yeah.
That is why I said systemic therapy is like the maths of life. And I'm not exaggerating. I always say, please do not trust a single word that I'm saying. Come and take a look. Sit on the side. Just take a look. Take a look. This comes from my father. Facts speaks way louder than words. That is why I trust what I was doing. I trusted what I was doing because I was delivering facts.
If someone has never attended any workshop in that field, could you try to explain what you're doing? Like, what are you doing on stage? How is the workshop unfolding?
Yes. On stage, what I do, I bring to the surface that interrupted movement. An interrupted movement is a movement of love that could not find fruition, that could not find completion. I give you a very simple example. The child is at school and he wants his mother. They want their mother. Their mother is not there. That movement of love is extending their arms towards their mother unconsciously. Their mother is not there. It comes the teacher, it comes the mate, it comes the auntie, it comes the smelly nanny, whoever comes, but their mom is not there. So love turn into sadness. So that sadness remain in them stuck. And above that sadness, come anger. And again, as I said before, pride. So what we do on stage, we allow that movement to find completion. We bring the trauma on stage with the two representatives, you and your beautiful mother. And through the use of words, I bring that ancient tears to the surface. Once those ancient tears comes and are released, maybe there's a bit of anger before, maybe I trigger something, that's my role. So you can cry that out and love can flow again. How would you call it energetically? The emotion create a memory. You repeat that abandonment over and over, because that is your morphic resonance. That is what love is for you. That is how you experience love. You can't change that. That's your morphogenetic imprinting. So, like a surgery, we come and we cut that love, that sadness, that wound. We allow to release that sadness so the body can heal. Emotionally, you can heal. Energetically, you can heal. Just like the body, you have a cut. I clean the wound. I put on top the band-aid, and then after a week, there's no longer a cut. That's what literally we do. This is what we do energetically, emotionally.
And how can you explain why it works? I mean, sometimes it almost looks like a little theater on stage, right? So you have different players. That's your mom, that's your dad. Why is it so easy for people to really see my mom in that person? It's a stranger. I've never seen them before. But you tell me, okay, that's your mom, and I'm totally there. That's my mom.
Jeez. Why? Because that person is capable to bring on top the emotion. So the role of the representative is to develop the scenario to bring on top the emotion. It could be you, it could be Leah, it could be somebody else. That person represents the scenario. My role as a field observer is to create the scenario. Once I create the scenario, just as you have created the relationship and the same scenario, because that partner is keep abandoning you, so you have created on your own. I do what you're doing just in front of everybody. You might do closed door. I do the same things. And how? Through morphic resonance. People might call it, oh, that's magic. No. Quantum physics teaches us that we are 99.9% and more energy. So when you come to the stage, you might not believe in energy, you might not believe in this, and that's perfect to me. I wasn't believing it too. But you feel the emotion. When you feel the emotion, what is my role? To allow you to release that emotion. So how do I do it? Through my own individuality. Statements. I bring statements that unconsciously are within you, but you're not stating it. You protected it. You have your own protection mechanism. What I do is I go through that protection mechanism and I trigger it. When it comes to the surface, you are free.
And how do you so quickly know those statements? Because sometimes it was really like you state a sentence and the women broke in tears. It was like instant, as if you could really read it on their head or wherever.
I do read it, but not in their head. I read it here in my gut feeling. But Céline, the thing is, people sometimes, many people like, oh, that's that. How do you do that? Do you have instinct? I'm asking. Do you have instinct? Like, oh, I should open the closet. I should say something to him. Okay. That is what I have. The only difference between me and you really is just that I use it every day. So I train it. It's like I go into the gym and I squat every day. I have big legs at the end of the 6 months, 9 months, a year. And my muscle is developed. They know how to break hypertrophy and build up more muscle and strength. That's what I do with what I do with my inner feelings. I use it every day, to the point that when I was saying that statement, I can work like this even in a supermarket with thousands of people. I really can, because I do that so much every day that I am more in that room than in this one. It's like a soccer player. They're so good with playing every day with the ball that they can almost just walk and keep playing with the ball even when they talk to you, and they can play tricks. The same for me. It's like a coffee maker. They do it every day. Well, they're very good at afterwards. But you do have that as well. I do have. Paolo's have. So everybody has. Yeah.
Can you even still walk through the streets without that vision on? You know, I feel like when you meet some people on the streets or you pass them through, like, do you see like, oh, she should talk to her mom, or he should, I don't know, heal the relationship with his dad or whatever? Is that constantly in you during your daily life as well?
Yes, with a limitation that I need to be in resonance with them, which means that I need to connect. If I don't connect, I can't download those information for the simple reason that this is also science and electricity. If they vibe at 720 Hz and I vibe at 450, how can we meet? We can't meet. So I need to enter in resonance with them, such as now, where I can perceive, I can tell you as many things as you want. We can write a book now because I'm feeling through you, feeling through the others here around us, but I need to be in contact with them. You cannot ask me something like, oh, what does that person in the other room feels or they think? To be very fairly honest with you, I can have I can have a perception because you might be connected with them, so you connect me with them, but really I need to be in contact with them. If you have a gift, I tell this to everybody, it's only to serve in others, in order for you to serve others. You don't have a gift to serve yourself. You don't have a gift that you take for something bad, to steal something from others. You have a gift just because you need to serve an higher good with it. So when I know I have a gift, and I know I'm here to serve other people. For this reason, my gift is further developing because I know what that gift is here for. If I would use that gift for bad things, I would turn into ego, which is what happened to me at 13. And that gift, I'm quite confident, won't work that well.
Have you ever felt that that gift is also heavy?
We can go on another podcast into this. Yeah, in my relationship, I tend to analyze, sometimes escape the relationship because it's too much. Because I know so much, I tend to run away. And that is my greatest fear, and also what makes me angry, because sometimes I sabotage the relationship. I do, and that makes me really angry because it makes me very arrogant also, because I stand not equally to the other person, and I don't really take the other person because I tend to analyze them, to guide them, and I can't really see them as equal. It happened, but it is adjusting. It's getting better, Céline.
How can you adjust? Like, what helps? I think for any therapist, I guess that's a really big problem, or it could be a problem also in not even in relationship, but only in dating, right? If you're having a glass of wine or whatever with a girl, it's difficult to not see her problems at first sight.
By taking your mother. The more you take your mother, the more you enter in harmony with others, because your mother represents relationship. Somebody who is not capable to be in order with their mother because they feel better than her, because they feel they have to rescue her, that is what they do with others. They become arrogant. What an arrogant acknowledgement that I had in the past, that I still have sometimes, when I think that despite my knowledge into my work, I know better than my mother. She has given me life. I cannot know better than my mother. In fact, I really, really respect her in the basic things that she does. Simply the fact that I came from Europe, and this weekend I was my first workshop, and she messaged me like, oh, I went to check the Wi-Fi for you because we don't have the Wi-Fi at home. So she wanted to give me a very comfortable situation. And I take the very basic things from her. I just take her as she is. Basic.
Do you think that some women might be afraid of you?
No, I don't think they would be afraid. I feel the majority of women are fascinated because of my closeness with my mom. So there's a lot of my mom in me. So that's what women feels, that they would call it, is very fascinating because of my mom. That's the reality. Like your mom, obviously they feel my mom in me. But what I do in women, which is what I used to do in my mom, now much less, is I trigger them. I used to trigger them a lot. But that was the path to my gift, to understand what I did with my mother, what my mother has given me. My father showed me the path where to go, how to go, but my mom gave me the essence. She gave me the medicine. So my relationship with my mom is my healing towards others. And because before we were fighting every 2 days and like white and black cat, that was what I was projecting in others, and others feel from me. Now that our relationship is smooth, as you could see over the weekend, almost, I think nobody has had any burst. Actually, we had like DMs and emails since like a few years ago, like, thank you, changing my life and this and that. Because that's what I want, yeah.
Let's have a closer look at the role of moms in family constellation. Is there any difference between the role of a mom towards a boy or a girl?
Yeah. Yes, there is. So to start with, the mother represent relationship. Why? Who is the first person, Céline, who you relate with? Your mother. So when you release the womb, when you get out of the womb, birth is already telling you how you are experiencing your life. You have experienced it this weekend. You continuously repeat your birth scenario to the dot, particularly when you come to some form of therapy, such as the one you did over the weekend. From there, we go ahead with the nurturing experience. So your mother is your nurturing, is also your health on a point of immune system, your protection. Why? Who is the first person who protects you? Your mother, in her arms. She is your house. You are built up inside her and the women in your family. So every experience you have with the cocoon, with the house, looks towards your mother. People coming to me, one of my best friends actually, I have mold in the house. What is the problem? With your mother. Because morphogenetically, you recreate the experience of the womb, of your mother's protection. So you have problem in finding house, problem with house leaking and this and that. There's always something towards the mother. A reparation probably when you have some issues. So there's a reparation process, but you went through something like that. So morphogenetically, you manifest your first house. For a boy, she is his first love. Who is the woman I want to marry? My mother. The traits that I'm attracted to, my mother. And the more passion that I have with my mother, and the more passion towards that woman, because she is the one that I get attracted to first. The same time for you, who is your first lover? Your father. You get in love, you fall in love with your father first, the opposite sex. So those are the roles that we play going ahead. Although the difference is that to become an adult woman, you return to your mother. So you return to your mother, and that's where you find your value as a woman. Your value with the world is given by your father, to find a good man, who you're gonna be, how the world is gonna see you, how you see the world. But to find your value as a woman, that is from your mother. When a woman feels her mother not valuable, judgmental, she this, she that, she's a poor soul and this and that, they tend to go towards their father because they can't find value and validation in their mother, which is difficult for a woman to become a mother, to enter that difficult role, particularly after such an era where fathers were absent. So mother had to take two roles, fathers and mothers. They had to also provide for themselves. So a woman that doesn't find her mother suitable or easy to take because of what she's gone through, she would go towards her father. That's when a woman is flooded with what you call masculinity. She becomes more manly. For us men, when I'm not capable to take the responsibilities of my father or face the guilt of the absence of my father or what he did, I remain with my mom because it's easy. My mom, she gives me adoration, validation just by looking at her. So I tend to seek my mommy in others. I never really healed that relationship. I remain there. My point of power is to detach from my mom. Your point of power is to detach from your dad. So we take our own sex parent and we become ourselves as adult.
It sounds very easy, really.
It really is, Céline. It really is. What is not easy is people overanalyzing the scenario rather than crying. I say something over the weekend, I don't know if you heard it, but I said talking is the antidote of taking. When you talk a lot, you're not willing to take. When you stop talking and you are desperate enough, you say, look, I'm desperate. I feel lonely, I feel worthless, I feel useless. Cool. That's when you are desperate enough, we can really start to change your life.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the more open person? I always use this terminology, I can't pronounce it. Who's the person more open to a change? The one who is desperate enough.
Yeah. You mentioned it already, your work is a lot also about unborn babies. What systemically, if you have a look at it systemically, what does an abortion to a woman? We had some cases also over the weekend. It was very touching. What is going on there?
One of the most common scenarios, Céline, is guilt. When a mother loses a child, particularly if on her own responsibilities, she feels guilty. So she feels guilty that she does not deserve. Maybe she enters a relationship where she does not deserve, or she cannot take her partner the love of the other children in full. She cannot even give to the other children because she's feeling guilty to that other baby. And she might be attached to him, her, on a soul level. So she might be drawn to sabotage, what we call systemically death. If somebody doesn't look ahead, looks towards life ahead, they look towards the past, death. They're drawn down there because their child is there and has not been acknowledged. What is the power of acknowledging it? Releasing. When someone comes and I lead them to acknowledge what happened, they release that burden which was not spoken and the emotion that is attached to it.
Do you feel that every woman feels guilt after a miscarriage or an abortion?
They might not feel, but they have it in their soul. So they might not feel because they freeze that. But to tell you something, a woman might unconsciously never step into a relationship again, only on the surface for 10 years of time, maybe 15. Mm-hmm. After they broke up with their partner at the time and they had an abortion, they might step in several relationships on the surface of sexual encounter, but they never really connect or bond on a soul level because they still attach that scenario to that partner, to that abortion. I've seen it and experienced it also in my own life.
And systemically and energetically, what would you say is the difference between having a miscarriage and having an abortion?
An abortion is usually a conscious decision. So there's not only guilt or anger, there's not only guilt, there might be a lot of anger and resentment. The emotion is amplified. Sometimes the miscarriage, most of the time, comes from the system. So there might be a lot of sadness, but the consequences, which they are guilt and anger, are less perceived. An abortion can be more impactful on an energetic level, means on an emotional level. I've seen people burst in tears and anger and desperation when they brought the abortion to the surface, and even after they experience it. Generally, this does not come from me, but it comes from the reading of Bert Hellinger, and I had the opportunity to share this knowledge. When a couple experience an abortion, they separate. Because the couple has failed the project of life. So they fail in front of the father in the system, the man in the system, and the mother has been let down, and in sadness they won't move from there. Love cannot flourish in that sadness, so the couple separates usually.
Does the man also can feel the guilt himself?
The man might sabotage a relationship after an abortion. He might spend that nurturing, that money, that financial, that abundance somewhere to let go and to pay the tribute to this particular child. The mother, again, it's a very difficult role. You experience more consequences as a woman due to your capacity to give birth, which I don't have. So for you, might encounter a depth of work which from me is not required. or is required on a different level from you as a woman, obviously, usually goes really into depth. That is your gift. Your capacity to give life is also your capacity to take life from death. Women are deep. They can dive into their wisdom and their depth. That is your capacity, your container to hold me and to allow me to walk with my mission around the world. That's when a woman really takes her femininity, her depth, emotional capacity, container.
What would you recommend a woman who had a miscarriage or an abortion? What is maybe a question she should ask herself?
It is important to keep pictures of the babies if they have, for example, they had an abortion before it was coming, or that not possible. But make a little, you could call it an altar, but it could really simple be like a Trudy bear, a teddy bear, just to acknowledge it. I would not give an advice specific on a general level, but there is one that I give to a general level. If the child starts, a new child who's coming, starts to manifest some symptoms, good. That is a knocking. This is him knocking at the door of the memories and say, hey, someone need to be acknowledged.
So the new child after the abortion or a miscarriage. Okay.
For the woman, generally they experience depression. There's generally a path to depression. Why? Because the child who was aborted connect them with their mother. Depression is systemically a disconnection with the mother at early stage. So when a woman experiences depression, such as a man as well, we go back to that healing place where we were separating with the mother. We go through that, and then we get out on the other side, certainly with more wisdom. But I always invite everybody to leave their depression. Do not escape. Do not numb it. Leave your depression. Depression always leads you to wisdom and depth. I know it's difficult to hear. I know some people, they fight it, but depression is the healing part, the healing path, the healing modality in which the body reconnects you naturally with the mother, with that moment where you need that depth. So I wouldn't go against it, but embrace it, obviously looking after your body. And yoga, for example, is a fantastic practice to embrace during depression. Why? Yoga resembles the movement of the body as a fetus.
Really?
So, yeah, it does. I always suggest that, and I went through myself into this. Yoga really resembles and allows the muscle to extend the movement of the body during when he was a fetus.
Not kickboxing.
Well, that was not the case.
How do you see illnesses systemically? Like, can an illness be, I don't know, propagated through generations, or how connected are illnesses to a systemic field?
They are always connected because everything is expression of the same things, which means the morphogenetic field, you're imprinting on an energetic level. Yes, illnesses can be passed down, but what I say is not illnesses can be passed down. Interrupted movements can be passed down, which means that if your mother or your father had an interrupted movement with his father, your father might manifest, or you might manifest, what you would call, for example, Hodgkin syndrome. Through the 5 biological laws of Dr. Hammer, we observe, in connection with the systemic therapy, that, for example, the Hodgkin syndrome is a reconnection with the father. The man who find his value, the lymph nodes, they reflect to the value of the body, the capacity of the body to kick out what is dirty within. So to keep the body in a young state, in a healthy state. I mentioned that specific illness because my father had it. So what my father really did at the time, he found his value. He processed the fact that his father left when he was 15. He manifested Hodgkin syndrome at the time with the knowledge at the time, through chemotherapy, through those allopathic approach. With the knowledge we have today, which they are nowadays mainstream, or they're getting out, we understand that actually there was no reason to fight it, but to embrace what was happening into his body which was a reparation process. So his body was repairing that conflict and that separation with his father and brother, that they died both. But was the father that situation? To reconnect with the question, systemically, we can pass down no illness but conflict. So if my father was disconnected with his father, I might manifest something else. How? Through having, for example, another symptom, which is not an illness, but a dangerous experience, dangerous upbringing. The father is life, representing life. People, Céline, that they disconnected with life, they tend to go in dangerous sport, dangerous activity, the extreme sport. Somebody who jump off a plane from 1,000 miles, whatever, that is someone who is not really attached to life. So that was me. He manifested certain things in his upbringing. I manifest other symptoms which were not related to the body, but they were related to my life. Accident, going on one wheel on my scooter, breaking my teeth, having a fight, stabbing, stuff like that. So every symptom is always expression of something in the system. An interrupted movement that seek reconnection. We can look at as many symptoms as you want, because I've seen so many. But to give you that example, Hodgkin syndrome, for example, that was beyond knowledge. The father coming back into your life, your value coming back into your life.
What would you say about breast cancer?
Breast cancer, Céline, is usually a man torn from the breast. Why? In ancient times, breast milk was given also to men, not only to babies. This is a known thing.
I didn't know.
From if you search it, from several cultures, they give breast milk because it's rich in vitamins, and also when there was food starvation, stuff like that. Even in winter, it's food starvation. When a man is torn from the breast, what happens into the breast, Céline? They increase the glands. Why? Because they try to reach more of that man who was torn from the breast. So the body intelligently increase the glands to try to reach that man that was torn from the breast. So generally, when a woman has breast cancer, I always state or look at who's the man who's been excluded into your family, torn from the breast. An ex-partner, a father, a grandfather, who's this man? Then we dive into whatever relationship that is. Often is a partner who has been finally let go of or repaired. They finally found the love of their mother again, because we experience the love of the mother. So they manifest the symptom. And if they are in that conscious awareness to don't chemo, to don't do this, to don't go into a fear-driven approach, they dive it holistically. These days we do. In Australia we do a lot. There's also a lot of allopathic, but there's also a lot of holistic approach these days. And consciousness is rising after what we call COVID, so everybody gets into more holistic approach. Even to go to the dentist, one of my mates, they told me, oh, Tizi, you know that you have a plaque, you have a metal stuff in your teeth, you should go there, because energetically everybody goes into that. So that's where we're going. Consciousness is rising.
You mentioned before that some women tend to become more masculine. I think you explained it because the father is missing, right? Or you're not seen by your father.
Well, you have different unfoldings leading to that. A man that is not present and a woman longing for him, she remains in his sphere of influence, so she becomes more masculine. What it means? It means that her psyche is flooded with masculinity. She becomes more of a man. But at the same time, if she has fallen in love for her dad and unable to take the responsibilities of her mom, why? Because his mom is too difficult, so she has gone through a very difficult upbringing, she might overstay in this sphere of influence. So the same level, she's flooded with masculinity. So she can be a what you call like a boss babe, a fear-driven woman. Like she needs to prove herself by achieving. The same is for men. Like it's not for women only, it's for men. When a man remains too much in the sphere of influence of his mother, his psyche is flooded with femininity. So how will he go along to find value? by look pretty, by look shiny, by attract others. And I've done it for many years. I know I've done it myself. Like, look how pretty I am. Look how the nice watch and this and that. I need validation. That's my mother's sphere of influence. When I find my father, my value comes within, through my service, through my depth, to who I am. That is who I am. That is the service I provide to the world and my pack and the thousands of people that I get to embrace with.
And would you say that number of women who are rather masculine is rising nowadays?
I feel that there is a big number, but it's actually changing because more men step up. In the couple, it's always the man who leads the direction. If the man steps up as a man and make a woman feel comfortable to trust and to be in her feminine, she can dive into her feminine. She can let go of that holding on. And guess what? He can take that beautiful wisdom. He can relax in her wisdom. And she can dive into that wisdom. But she needs to dive first to give it before giving it to him. So he needs to step up first. So for her to become that. Okay? It's like a role, Céline. It's like, imagine you and Paulos. You have roles here. Like, I don't think you are the one carrying the wardrobe up. Maybe he does it or somebody else does. Like, it's about roles. I say, sometimes women, they say, oh, I don't want to cook. Okay, well, I say, fine. Let's share the roles. I go and pick up the food and I carry the bag up the stairs. So I bring it up. You had your days to do whatever you wanted, and you might nurture me. So I provide for you, you nurture me. That's okay. The role can be in another way. Sometimes when the role are too swapped, the relationship becomes difficult. For example, if you go and hunt and I stay home and do the laundry, the relationship, I give very basic example because I don't want to stereotype. I just want to give basic examples so everybody can take it, and they can also try on their own. They can also try. I say, please don't listen to my words. Try. If you go and hunt, wake up at 6 a.m. and instead I sleep until 10, 2 o'clock, and then I do the laundry, the relationship might work a little less. I say it might work a little less for a very simple, basic reason. If you look at biology, your state as a woman is depressive. That is your biological state. I didn't make up. Nobody made up. You are made like that. Biologically, you are depressive, which means that you're not going to wake up at 6. You might wake up at 10. So you do at 10 your own things, and you start to become creative by 2 p.m., 1 p.m. You start to really develop your creativity and stay awake a little longer than me. I wake up at 5, full of ideas, and I used to go and hunt with my brothers. Now I go to the coffee shop and I want to make $1 million. Same things. That is just how I am biologically. I will go to sleep at 7, probably, and you stay awake on the couch until 10 because you have a different rhythm than me. So we are in harmony. I do my part, which my body was given like that. I didn't make it. My body is maniacal. So biologically, you are depressive. I am maniacal. So in my maniacal state, I can't wait to wake up. My high is like, whoa, I want to hunt. I'm going to the coffee shop and I hunt. That's how it is these days. So that's how it works best. Not because I say it, not because Ellinger said or nobody, just our biological rhythm. I just read the body and I take opportunity of my gift. You as a woman, me as a man.
And why do you say that women should spend more time with other women and men with their pack, as you say, with other men?
For a very simple reason, energetic level. Like, you are loaded with your femininity. You become more woman when you stay with women. And I become more man when I stay with men. So we recharge our pole. What happens then? That when we go home, sex is booming. We are drawn by polarity. I must be a plus, you a minus. We are drawn. If you are 2 plus or 2 minus, no. Then we go to the coffee shop and we see somebody who's very into the plus, and then what's going on here? What? But what? Because we miss that polarity. So to recharge it, I always say, go with your brothers. Me, Paulos, and Mark, and Benj, and we stay together. We have a chat. You with Leah and all the other girls, you chat all together, and you recharge your pole because you speak in a different way. Like, we of course, we combine in relationship, but you have your feminine way to do it, and we have our masculine way to do it. For example, we are solution driven. You listen, you absorb it, and then you might give a solution in 2-3 days.
Mm-hmm.
We like, Tizi, have a problem. Yeah, you should do that. Because that I'm solution driven. You absorb it, you analyze it, and then you give me a solution. But before you absorb it, we do the way. Okay, it's a different way. Just approach different way, natural way. So, yeah.
What do you say to those people who think nowadays that men and women, everything is the same? It doesn't matter. You can choose what you want to be. There's no real masculinity and femininity. It just doesn't matter. Sex doesn't matter anymore.
I don't say. I see what I preach what I see. Life become more neutral. Neutral means there's no downs, maybe, but there's also no ups. So it becomes very plain. And they gotta drink a lot of coffee to feel stimulated, really. I'm joking about it, but...
Do you drink coffee?
I don't anymore. I love it. I don't anymore. But they really need stimulation because their life within is unstimulated. So they stimulate constantly with traveling, with drinking, with everything that brings up something because they become neutral, plain, empty, shell. Shells.
Do you see in today's world that femininity or the role of a woman is misunderstood?
Yeah.
How?
Well, primarily because some women perceive when someone says a woman should not work in a way that is like division. Not really. A woman should work by creating. A man work to survive. A woman work to create and express a very different way of working. I wake up at 6 because I need to bring the food on the table for us, the family. That is my role. But you don't have to stay home waiting for me. But actually you can express yourself. Dancing, singing, creating, podcasting, whatever you want to call it these days. So you express yourself, and I guarantee you that you're also developing some nurturing experience back by what you call remuneration. Because the more you are in your feminine and not taken by the maniacal state of surviving, which is not yours biologically, and the more I'm taken by the maniacal state, which is mine biologically, the more I earn, the more responsibility I have, and the more the world put in front of me opportunity to fulfill those responsibilities. The more I become a man, and the more you become a woman. When a man takes a woman, he becomes more man. When a woman takes a man, he becomes more woman. Of course.
And what do you say about that discussion about toxic masculinity?
Well, which is real. Like a man, generally speaking, in the sphere of influence of his mother, is not seeking to fulfill a family, serve his family, serve the world. He seeks to fulfill himself first, to show up and feel the value from others. That is a man that you could call it toxic masculinity. He's not a man in his leadership. He's not a man in his manhood. A man in his manhood serve others, serve the pack, serve his kingdom. That is a leader. A leader serve his kingdom. He takes decision based on his kingdom well-being, on his family well-being, on the woman he serves. A man who seeks to serve himself first, prior his woman, prior the kingdom, prior his leadership, is a boy. You want a name of a boy in history?
Mm-hmm.
Adolf Hitler. Because he's somebody who did not serve the country, but he served himself first. So many people, they plummeted down from it. A leader, Muhammad Gandhi, serve others before serving himself. Feel energetically when I state certain names, how you feel energetically, because the name, the information are in the field. So when we state certain names, and it's not good or bad or say, you just say the state that on a soul level where that persona resonates. It's not about is bad, is good, or the other is good. It's just where it resonates. Someone who does not serve the country first, but he takes the best out of the country for himself, that is not a leader. Somebody who is actually serving the country and spread the good from within, that is a leader. That is a leader.
If a man and the woman meets in terms of a romantic relationship, what would you say? Let's have a look at the perspective of the woman. What is your recommendation for a woman? Like, how can you achieve a healthy relationship?
Well, the first recommendation is by trusting your mother. If you do trust your mother, you trust a man. If you don't trust your mother, you do not trust a man. Because the love you experience with that man is the love of your mother. So if your mother is judgmental, there's a good opportunity for you to see that the man makes you feel judgmental. So the more you heal the relationship with your mother and the more you heal with your partner. Although, even if there is that situation with your mother and you turn towards your partner, instead of pointing, Céline, it's your fault, you say, look, Céline, this is what I need from you. So communication is key. Sorry if I do need this and I have not healed yet with my own self, but this is what I need. So the more we exchange needs from one another, the more we bond, the more we heal, the more we grow. Child love, Céline, you have no control over it. You fall in love and you can't control it. You have no control. But adult love, you do have control. It's a choice. I choose you. Every day I play a symphony in my head and I keep choosing you. I keep choosing you. I keep choosing you. This is adult love. Falling in love, you can't. Because some trauma, some childish love, some form of love you had at home takes you. So you can't do nothing about it. I'm in love. But child love can turn and become adult love. So there is the falling in love, that experience, you meet each other, you go through a period, but then I choose you. You are who I want to spend my life with. Clean.
And how about the perspective of the man? Like, does he need first to heal the love to his father then? Or how is it there?
Same with his mother. And a man needs to let go of his mother. Because if he did not let go of his mother, he brings his mother in her partner, and he has the same expectation, but also has one foot with her and one foot with the new partner. So he actually never sees his partner in full. He still sees his mother in her. And he has the same expectation most of the time.
And what's the difference then between healing your relationship with your mom and letting her go?
Healing the relationship with your mom goes in several contractions here and there, but you remain there as a woman. Letting go of your mother for a man is stepping into adulthood, which is very difficult sometimes because we didn't have father roles. That's why we need brotherhood these days. A lot of men around men. And we need to share those problems with men. We need to speak with other men to feel accountable, to become leaders, to become men, to allow some men to tell us, hey, what you're doing is not right. But you can let go in my arms, crying out, and you don't need to cry out in your partner's arms, looking like a baby, and asking to her to fulfill something missing from your mom, because that is too much to ask for her. Too much. The same is for her. It's too much to ask you validation, the one that she didn't take from her father. You can't validate her on a daily basis. Like, of course, you honor her, you acknowledge her, but not validating her on a daily basis. That is, something is missing. She needs to find her own value. Yeah.
And why is it not the case for women as well that they need to let go of their moms?
They do let go of their mom, but systemically what we say is by becoming equal to them. Equal to them means taking from them, taking the acknowledgement from them, the love, what they have been given, the role, let's say, and then they move on and move into an adult love. But for a woman, the hard part is to let go of her father. Why, Céline? For the same reason I was saying before, opposite sex parent, polarity. We are drawn to that. It's easier to talk with your dad. It's easier to talk with my mom. It's opposite sex. And it's easier for them as well. A father, like his, father-daughter is a known relationship, as well as mommy, boy and mommy, like, they always have a caring word, an extra caring word.
What would you say, what helps during that process of letting go of your mom or your dad?
The same sex pole around. Like for me is to be with men, for you to be with women.
And then it just happens automatically, so to speak.
Life is naturally drawing you towards it. This is a natural process of the soul. For men, mother, father, they become adult. They turn back, acknowledge their mother and go away. Same is for women. Mother, father, mom, and another man come into the picture to take the role of the mother, like the love of the mother. So a man takes, obviously, the woman, and who is giving the bride to the wedding, to the new family? The father. That's why I always say, people look at systemic therapy like, oh, that's a new science. Not really. We have done that since thousands of years. Look at the marriage. It's basic knowledge. Like the father gives the woman as a bride, as a gift. Why? Because she can carry life. She has the wisdom. She can create the new family. He gives her to the new family with the new surname, which means the new direction. So there's a new direction in the new couple because it's different than the previous surname.
Very interesting. You have now many years of experience and hundreds of systemic constellations, which you already did. Many, many stories, traumatic ones and good ones. Was there ever a point where you thought, oh, now I see something, I feel something, but I won't speak it out?
Yeah. Certain things can become dangerous. I tell you clearly, you can't bring to the surface a secret that does not need to be brought to the surface. Generally, the field does not give you that information, but if that information slips, can create consequences. Energetically, I'm gonna give you something now. When I state a name before, you felt energetically there was a difference, because certain things in the field brings resonance. Because a lot of people are attached to that resonance. A lot of tragedy are attached to that resonance. A secret might create a lot of tragedy and ripple effect in the system. A lot of other souls are attached to that name or that tragedy. So if I do bring a knowledge to the surface that doesn't need to be brought, it can create consequences with the coming generations. That is why you live freely, the more you follow your feelings. The more you step out of your feelings, the more you live in disharmony with life. So for you to live an harmonious life, remain in your feelings that life is giving you through the body. When you step out of your feelings, for example, imagine if I go into the stage and I start to do what I want, not what is given to me, what I want, that can be dangerous for people. And this is why when I do this work, I'm very responsible. Even when I record the podcast, in certain things that I say, I'm very accountable to what I say. And even while you speak and you ask me questions, things are given to me. So I make sure that I remain in order with only what is given to me, because certain information can be dangerous and they can harm people.
And how do you know? Like, do you ever doubt whether you should speak something out or not?
Rarely, because as I told you, I'm trained now. Every day I do my squat with my intuition. But it did happen. And sometimes I doubt myself when I state certain things that give me a bit of resonance. Maybe usually they things that they know mine. Maybe it's something that I read, something that I have taken, so they're not purely mine. Sometimes I sleep with it, but generally I go back into line, because obviously I read a lot, I study a lot myself into things, so sometimes I have a memory of something I read, I bring it to the surface. but I have the resonance with that, but maybe I use those words. The more I remain in what is given, what my inner guidance is, the more in harmony I am. And I finish the workshop and I'm very happy, everybody very happy. And same on the podcast. When you say something that you feel it like, it's not resonating too much. So I remain in harmony. The more there is harmony through the conversation, through the relationship, and the more the information is useful.
Is giving workshops, is it giving you energy, or is it also sometimes that it drains you energy?
Oh, the 3 days after the workshop, I wanna, you have to turn me like
Really?
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that. It was the same for me. But you basically did all the work.
Well, as I said, Céline, like when we enter there, we become a single movement of the soul. I know this since I started. I started to realize that we become a compound force. We are one. We become really one. So even the person who is in the corner who hasn't spoken at all has taken part to some extent to the engagement. And many families, they intertwine to bring this healing and move forward the field. So yes, I feel drained, but mostly because I've been too much into the spirit. Because when I obviously enter my place, my area, you see me that I'm into my space. So I'm so much into the spirit that what I need generally after is food, ground me back into the body, sleeps, the body restore energetically. We know that overnight the ethereal body is detaching from the physical body, so there is a healing in place. So I do need that. Yes, 3 days at least.
What else helps you to keep your energy also during the work you're doing?
Water. Water means jumping in the water. Ocean is first sight, like first option. Second option is lake, but the reason is ocean recharge me and cleanse me energetically. The ocean water is light because of the salt, so it really helps my body, my energetic body. The water of the lake is heavy. We know that is absence of salt, so it still cleanses me, still put me almost like in the womb of my mother. That returns me to recycling. I always say to people, why you like in the water? It reminds you the womb of your mother. Hello, I always say that. Like you started there. I mean, I say knowledge that everybody does. Like mother gives birth into the water. So obviously we are connected to the water. I'm big connected because I'm very close to my mom. So here even more. But yeah, jumping in the water, morning, evening, usually.
Every day.
Yeah.
If possible.
Oh yeah, more than once a day. When I travel for workshop around the world, I generally pick places that are close to the ocean, to the lake. Now I travel, I Ljubljana, for example, there's no sea, but Amsterdam, I'm close to the canal. Like I always, Dubai, we know, like Italy, I'm close to the sea. So yes, I always the ocean close to me. That influence I needed.
And in the workshop, you also mentioned a WhatsApp chat with your boys, with
the Brotherhood. Yeah.
What is that?
Well, I joined it very recently from a brother of mine who I met into a brother gathering, and yeah, I really felt this year to step more in my brotherhood, in my manhood. Usually I'm the one giving guidance and advice and stuff, and I actually realized that I want guidance. So I go into this brotherhood, we had the chat, we had the call every week, and we speak about our problem. We voice it out in front of other men which don't know about it, but we speak it out. And I actually wanted to invite Brother Mark, and we just go there and we speak. Like, obviously, there's somebody holding the container. There's a cost, so I pay the subscription for months, and I feel I want to share because I want to connect with brothers who have my same problem and can give me guidance as men, like fathers, leaders. Not always go to mommy women. Like otherwise, I dump my issue on you. I dump my issue on the other. No. I'm a leader in my work. I know I am. I feel I have a big mission, a big service, and big mission means a big service, and I'm responsible to it. So I want brothers who keep me accountable, responsible, who I can let go of. Hey guys, I've helped 200 marriages, really, but I'm shit at mine. So I'm going there and I say it, and they hold me and I recharge my pole, and I feel held.
Nice.
Men need men, and women need women.
That's what I definitely learned from your workshop.
I love it.
among other stuff.
Love it.
I have 2 last questions for you, but before I ask you, I would like to ask you whether there's any other topic or any message you would like to bring out to the world.
I feel you've been a fantastic host. A lot of intelligent questions. We had a lot of guidance, and I felt really connected. So
hopefully enough water. Refill yourself.
See, almost at the end. Yeah, oh, it's okay. I'm good. I'm hungry, so if I have more water, then I am further hungry. So I'm waiting for now.
I'm gonna eat something right away.
I should.
So, what would you recommend to someone who feels stuck, like on a systemic level? What could he or she do as a first step to get things moving?
Don't wait.
Mm-hmm.
If you need help, ask for help. If you do need help, to ask for help, embrace courage. If you don't embrace courage, generally life gives you the opportunity to do so by putting you with the back on the wall. So when you find your back on the wall, do not escape, do not look around, do not stay still. Take an action. Life is constantly guiding you to which action is suitable to you. Through a video on Instagram, to somebody you feel attracted to, do it. Do it. I felt my call to Brotherhood cost us some certain money. That's it. And I have embraced so much more since.
Wonderful. And my last question for you, Tiziano, what would you tell your younger self?
It's okay to fail. You'll be great.
Thank you very much for being here and sharing your experience. It was a pleasure. Thanks, Tiziano.
Likewise, Céline. Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, thanks a lot for watching until now. It was amazing with Tiziano. I hope you can find some new thoughts and new perspective on family topics yourself as well. If you had an aha moment, please share it with us in the comments. Leave a subscription here. We're really happy to have you here. And until the next time.